Hello, Michael Swain here after Kansas football's 31-24 win over Nevada here in Reno, and that was a very ugly performance and probably the starkest contrast possible to the first half that KU played against Illinois 8 days ago. But a win is a win. You don't give them back in college football, and for the first time since 1991 and 1992, Kansas is 3-0 in back-to-back seasons. It also means KU is halfway to bowl eligibility, and a perfect end, albeit not the perfect performance, to non-conference play. And there's lots to dive into here because this was a game that had a lot of ebbs and flows throughout. KU got off to a good start. The offense gets the ball first. They looked pretty good, and then as the first quarter came, a lot more mistakes came. And I think I look at a couple plays in the first quarter. I think Armaje Reed-Adams getting called for an illegal man downfield and then called for a holding. KU then faces a 4th and 40 that obviously they have to punt, but then it gets back to just midfield. Nevada turns that into 3 points. There are all these moments throughout the course of the game that self-inflicted errors really impacted KU. You look in the second half. KU has Nevada in a 4th and short. You don't know if they're going to snap it. Maybe they're trying to get a hard count, and Austin Booker bites. All of a sudden, Nevada has a fresh set of downs. They go on to score a touchdown. Right? Those are two moments in terms of giving Nevada opportunities to stay in the game that if there aren't those self-inflicted penalties, errors, this is probably a different game. And that's fine. But penalties have been something that this team, I think, has done a lot better with. KU had over 6 penalties, the most penalties KU has had since they had 10 against Texas Tech last season. This is one of those things where maybe I'm struggling to differentiate. Is this because this game kicked off at 9:40 Central and these players are used to being somewhat close to bed? Or is it just the fact that it's a game where I think KU came in and thought they probably could play a B game and get out of here with the win? And in the end, they played a C game and got out of here with the win, but it was far from pretty. Offensively, in the first half, Jalen Daniels was running for his life for a good period of it. The offensive line struggled to handle the pressure that Nevada sent. And that's who Nevada is. The coaches talked about it during the week. Nevada's going to send pressure, and they did, and KU really struggled with that. And I think the routes KU was calling was a lot of over, intermediate, deep, things that take time to develop, and KU just didn't have time, right? And so I think in the second half you saw the offense have more success when they went up tempo and when they really just started to pound the rock. I think running the ball was the thing in the end that I think really helped KU, and there's a stretch there where Devin Neal was awesome. Daniel Highshaw had a couple good carries. The running backs room, I think, really helped the offense to where then they were able to pass the ball a lot more effectively. Nevada was on the back foot. On the other side, you look at defense, and we're talking about this time last week where KU just out-physicaled Illinois. And the defense today looked a step slow, not as physical, I think, as we've seen this team play through the first 2 games of the season. This was a different type of performance. But in the end, they got enough stops to win the game. I think you got to give a lot of credit to Kenny Logan. He made some big plays. There's that play kind of right behind me over there where he chases a guy down and strips it. And there weren't other guys really chasing as hard as the Nevada guy was chasing, and he recovers. And, Nevada goes on to score there a play later. That's another one of those sliding doors moments plays. And in the end, then Kenny gets the final tackle for loss. It wins the game. Right? That's a veteran guy coming up in a big moment for KU. And I just think this defense overall, the answer is somewhere in the middle. Right? They're not as bad as you saw today. And I think they're probably better in terms of the physicality than what you saw as well. So overall, I think probably the big takeaways positive-wise, right? Devin Neal's incredible. He's incredible. This was another great game from 3 touchdowns. I believe over 150 all-purpose yards. I don't have the stats in front of me right now, but he was great. Seth Keller on the special teams front, the kicker, thought had a really good game. KU as a kicker, again, we'll say it again. We'll say it throughout the course of the season. If KU's going to play in these one-score games, they need to have a good kicker, and it seems like right now they do. And then defensively, it's one of those where there were some good moments, there were some bad moments. There's going to be a lot of teaching tape, and they'll review some of that here in Reno. They're staying the night, Saturday night. They'll go home Sunday, tomorrow after breakfast, and then they're going to have to practice Sunday afternoon. This is some crazy rule where the NCAA clock and the way they do off days, basically by KU traveling tomorrow, it counts as a team day, so that means they have to practice. And if they don't practice, they lose a day of practice. And so they'll get back tomorrow afternoon, and they'll practice in the evening most likely, and they'll get focused on BYU. So that's shaping up to be a really interesting game. BYU beat Arkansas today. And we all know how physical Arkansas can be too, so that's shaping up to be a really fun game. But those are just some of my quick thoughts here from the field. Obviously, stay tuned to Phog.net for all sorts of coverage. Got plenty coming your way on Sunday, Monday, and of course, as we head into another week of KU football.